Research writing. We have other videos like an overview to the course and then overviews for each week and a variety of other things. But I wanted to use this opportunity to talk a little bit about the framework of this particular course and what I want you to be thinking about for each session. Every course has learning outcomes, and ours cover the gamut from writing an academic outline and a thesis to accurately citing scholarly research and finding that research, and then effectively planning and organizing your paper and demonstrating by the end of the course that you are confident and able to write an academic research paper. So to get there, I want you to think about all of the assignments in this course as being part of a greater whole. So each time you're looking at an assignment in any of the 4 sessions, I want you to be thinking about one paper. We are writing that one research paper over the course of those 4 sessions, 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're starting with a topic that you choose. Feel free to send me a message and get some support with that. But each assignment is a building block for achieving that paper. So what do I mean by that? Well, if they're all building blocks for this greater paper, I want you to think about how the session 1 discussion of the library tour is a chance to say, okay, where do I get scholarly research? What's the best first starting point for finding this research? And when you turn in your outline, I hope to see 3 items from that library tour, that you've gone to the library and you found 3 resources. Well, when we head into session 2 and we're discussing analyzing resources, I want you to be using those 3 items that you found. And I want you to start applying these principles to them and say, did I hit the mark? Did I miss the mark? What could I gain from this discussion that will help me with finding 2 more resources by the time I turn in my final draft? So when we're looking at that research paper on the first draft for session 2, you've already had the chance to visit the library, which hopefully has led to more questions that you then ask me for more support, and you've started to figure out what exactly you're looking for and what is useful and how to evaluate that. So when we go into session 3, we start to say, okay, I get the idea of what good research is, but how do I look at the content and figure out if it's good, if it works for what I'm doing? How do I make all of those assessments? That's what the discussion should be aimed at, not necessarily the overarching idea in and of itself, but to say, how does this idea of truth in research really work for me today as I'm working on this paper? And hopefully those ideas work their way into your second draft. Finally, in session 4, we say, hey, guess what? There are all these types and patterns, and most likely you've already been using them. So let's evaluate that. Let's think about how we've used them, how they're working, and how we can refine that and adapt that and do an even better job at it, which works its way into your final draft. So all of these pieces, all of these blocks are building for that final single paper. One example of this is session 2. We don't want to just take those resources and say, ooh, I should find a resource. We want to say, hey, what am I going to use for my paper? Have I turned in this as an example? Have I found a new resource? Well, I want to analyze something that I'm going to use this week. And that's how we build those together and throughout for the entire session, for each session of the entire course. So the focus of our course is to think about every assignment in terms of that larger picture as part of the growth that gets you to a place where you have increased your knowledge and understanding of this paper, of the concept of a paper, to where you feel able and strong and confident about what you're doing with writing. So I hope that helps you think about each part of our paper and each part of each session. Don't forget, whenever you have questions,